All right, we're ready to go. My name is Brad Bernstein, and this is Brad Show Live. We have upped our game a little bit here. I got to say hello to the squad. I don't know if you noticed or not, but we had the graphics going here, right here in the beginning, and then we also have upped our lighting a little bit. You know, now that we're in our 7th pandemic pop-up, why not up it a little bit? Let's say hello to the squad. Hello, Christy Consali. How you doing? Bakary Pabi on Facebook. Zach Latif Rahman saying, hey, Brad, how are you? Demore Romed saying, squad up. Joan Grant, squad up to everybody. I'm going to be answering all your immigration questions in a little bit. Let's just get through and say hello to everybody. I want to make sure everybody's feeling well. Tamika Nelson saying, hey, y'all. Javelle Finnegan saying, squad up, guys. Karen Rowe, how are you doing? Harriet, squad up, everyone. How are you all doing? Barbara Lord saying hello. And Carol Anderson, the Tiger, saying, hello, Brad, squad up. How you doing? As you can see, I'm doing very, very well. I have been holed up in my apartment. We have switched around. I am now sitting at my dining room table. We've switched around, found the best lighting to do all of this. And also, as you can see, whether you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, I don't have to hold my phone anymore. I mean, we upped our technology this weekend. Congratulations to Jilly Bean and Remote TriCaster Guy. We have a new guy. He's called Remote TriCaster Guy. And Remote TriCaster Guy and Julie Bean did a fabulous job getting this all set up. Kennedy Roy saying squad up as well on Facebook. Who else we have here? Demore Ramed. I said that already. And anybody else we got to say? Joan Grant saying she's fine. By the way, I feel fine. I hope everybody else is feeling fine as well. So far, thank God, nobody in my family, in my immediate family, has gotten sick from coronavirus. I hope to all the squad out there that you two are all well. I do have to remind everybody, my law office is open. I am doing 15, 20. I did 21 actually, I think about 21 phone consultations today. So that's basically what I've been doing all day. I wake up in the morning. What I did was I downloaded this app on my iPhone, and I downloaded this exercise app, you know, so I've been exercising at home. I haven't really left my apartment in about 11 days. And then I exercise, I go shower, and then I do all my phone consultations. I try to help as many people as I can. And then I come here and do the show. And that's been my day so far. I've been hermetically sealed in my apartment. I have Amazon send me food once a week, and I haven't even left to go to the food store. Let's see who else. So I'm a survivor saying, hey, squaddies, how are you? Stephen Omatode Wilberforce saying, thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate it. And thank you. I mean, I appreciate your appreciation of me. It's my pleasure. I love doing this. And Dawn Harriet wants to know how the staff is doing. Staff is doing great. I communicate with the entire staff at Spar and Bernstein, as well as the entire staff from Bradshaw Live every day, Monday through Saturday. We have a really close-knit family here at Spar and Bernstein and Bradshaw Live. We wish everybody good morning. We're on a group chat, and we're all working from home, trying to help as many people as we can. The telephone number to call my law office if you need if you have immigration issue or you have an immigration problem is 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-529-5465. Martin Allison with a question. We'll get to you in a little bit. If you do, and First Lady Leah, the lighting and the area is looking good. That's what I think too. We worked all weekend getting this straight. I mean, we said, now that we're going to be pandemic pop-ups for a couple more weeks, Mario Cuomo here in New York has continued the quarantine at least through April 29th. He came out with that today, and we'll talk about what's going on with coronavirus shortly. But he is continuing the quarantine, at least certainly here in New York City, through April 29th. So we said we better up our game. Let's say hello to Denise Johnson and 29 Super C saying, how are you? Alyssa Henry, squad up. Kings TV, hey, Brad, sexy man. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Errol Townsend said, good afternoon. How are you? Barbara Lord saying hello, everybody. Wayne Wallace on YouTube saying good evening, Brad and everybody. Ja Love popping in there saying hi, Brad. Carol Anderson, the Tiger. Hi, Brad. Squad up. Leah, Lady Leah, squad up, my people. And Healthy Way saying good day, Brad. And King TV, I cannot marry you. I am very, very sorry, but I really appreciate all the kind words that you're saying. Tanisha Thomas, wow, I just joined in. I see everybody saying sexy Brad. Should I say that too? No, it's okay. People like me for my braid. They don't like me for my sex appeal. It's perfectly fine. I know my lane that I'm in. Brooke Brown has an immigration question. We'll get to that in a little bit. Hergo Jebrasius saying, be safe, Uncle Brad. Yes, I will be safe. And let's see. By the way, we're going to get to everybody's immigration questions very, very shortly. I was reading in the news earlier that according to the Johns Hopkins University, the novel coronavirus has now infected more than 1.3 million people. It's killed 70,000 people worldwide. There is some good news. If there is some good news, both Spain and Italy looks like they have reached, everyone's saying there's this curve. I'm sure you've seen it on the news. There's a curve, and the curve goes up in terms of people who are getting ill, and then people who, God forbid, are going to die. And then the curve goes down. There'll be less illness. There'll be less people needing hospital stays because of the social distancing. Also, perhaps because of the herd mentality. The presumption being is that once somebody already had coronavirus, they can't be a carrier and give it to somebody else. So if there is good news, it seems that Spain and Italy have reached their apex in this curve and are starting to go down. Well, that's certainly good news for Spain and Italy, but it's also good news for the United States, because the United States, and certainly here in New York, seems to be mimicking the curve of Spain and Italy. We're about 2 to 3 weeks behind Spain and Italy. So as things happen in Spain and Italy, that's what you expect to see happening in the United States in the next 7 to 14, 20 days. Governor Cuomo came out today and he says we may be at the apex. We may have plateaued. New York is a little ahead of the rest of the United States in terms of the coronavirus. I think people in other parts of the United States think it's not going to happen there. It's going to happen everywhere. It will slowly happen everywhere, just like Donald Trump thought it was just going to happen in China, or it was just going to happen in Europe. It eventually came to the United States. It starts in New York. Eventually, it's unfortunately going to hit everybody. New York is the first, but it's not going to be the last in the United States. Eventually, this virus will make it through all 50 states. But as we can see, certainly here in New York, that we've either reached the apex and we're on the back end of the curve, or maybe we have plateaued and we'll start slowly going to the back end of the curve. I hope so. Um, the U.S. surgeon has said this is going to be the hardest and saddest week. He described it as Pearl Harbor, a 9/11 moment. That Dr. Birx, who's heading the Corona Task Force in the White House, has said that she believes Pennsylvania, right now, the big hotspots are California, New Orleans, Chicago, Detroit, New Jersey, certainly here in New York is getting the brunt of the coronavirus. But she believes that the next hotspots are going to be Pennsylvania, Colorado, District of Columbia. Last week, the director of the National Institute of Allergy predicted the final death toll in the United States is going to be between 100 to 200,000 people. And if we did not close down the United States and do all of these social distancing, the numbers we're looking at more about 2.5 million people who are going to die. Some sad news out of the United Kingdom. I'm sure a lot of people saw already. Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who didn't take the coronavirus very seriously, is now in intensive care in St. Thomas Hospital in London due to increasingly severe coronavirus symptoms. Boris Johnson, he was admitted to the hospital on Sunday for what Downing Street called routine tests because his condition had not improved 10 days after he tested positive for the virus. His condition has since worsened, according to a statement, and Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab is going to step into his place where necessary. As a matter of fact, my daughter Gabby came out and asked, well, who's going to take over for Boris Johnson? Well, if Gabby, you're watching, it is Dominic Raab. Now, Johnson, he's 55 years old, only 3 years younger than me, 4 years. I'm 51, won't be 52 for a few more months. But he did not take coronavirus seriously. Europe took it seriously. The United Kingdom was the last country to take it seriously. And coronavirus, as a result, has ravaged the entire governmental structure of the United Kingdom. I mean, the Prince of England even has it. So let's hope. I really hope he gets better. Nobody wants to see any leader die of coronavirus. It is too fragile of a time. We don't need our leaders dying, whether you agree with this particular leader or you don't particularly agree with this leader. My opinion is we don't want to see leaders dying at this point. This is some concerning news for pet owners. Apparently, a tiger at the New York City's Bronx Zoo, and by the way, I'm totally obsessed with the Tiger King. I binge watched all weekend. Highly recommend it. It's completely entertaining and makes Americans look not the smartest people in the world, but certainly entertaining and crazy. And it's totally worth the entertainment just to get your mind off of coronavirus. So the tiger, though, here by the way, it's mind blowing that this whole tiger community was also mind blowing to me. But besides that, this is not about Tiger King. There's a tiger in the Bronx Zoo who tested positive for coronavirus. They believe that the tiger got the coronavirus from the tiger handler at the Bronx Zoo, who was also tested positive. It is the first documented case of a human giving an animal coronavirus. And that's a little scary for people who are sick and rely on their animals to keep them comfortable. And now maybe they have to be concerned that they may give their dog or their cat or their pet tiger, if you have tigers, coronavirus. My stupid friend, I have a stupid friend up in Connecticut. He called me last week. He says he has a case of corona, and he then sent me a picture of a literally case of Corona beer. scared the hell out of me. I said, not very funny. But apparently, Corona beer has actually, people have been drinking it now since this coronavirus. It's been good marketing for them. But they have now announced on Twitter that they are halting production of Corona beer because now the Mexican government has announced all of the closings of non-essential business. And apparently, Corona beer is not essential business in Mexico. Uh, United States is not issuing US passports to anybody right now unless it is a quote, life or death emergency. So if you are outside of the United States and you lose your passport, or you are outside of the United States and your passport has expired, your US passport, you are not getting a new one right now. The US Department of State doesn't want anybody literally traveling in or out of the United States. In a statement published on March 27th, the State Department advised Americans to avoid all international travel due to the spread of the coronavirus unless someone is experiencing an emergency and needs to travel within 72 hours. This whole coronavirus is upsetting. It's making everybody very, very upset. But I did see one or two funny stories about coronavirus that I do have to share with everybody, just to lighten up a little bit, I guess. There was a dog who was sent on a mission to buy Cheetos because his owner, the dog owner, was quarantined. Apparently, in these difficult days with social distancing and staying home when you can, people are trying to be creative and finding ways to live their daily lives. We're trying to be creative here in how we're doing our Brad Show Live, our one-man Brad Show Live here. So one man figured out an ingenious solution. He obtained a bag of Cheetos. He wanted a bag of Cheetos, so he didn't know how to get it. So, and by the way, this was not in the United States. This was in Mexico. So the guy's name is Antonio Muniz. He didn't just wave off the idea of getting Cheetos. The man needed some Cheetos. So when it popped in his head that he needed Cheetos and he wasn't allowed to leave, he figured he wasn't allowed to go to the store. He's quarantined in Mexico, but he sent his dog across the street to hope and get Cheetos. So he said in a newspaper article, day 3 of quarantine, I really wanted my Cheetos. So Antonio figured he can just send his Chihuahua to a department store across the street. He attached a note explaining what he needs to the dog's collar, along with $20. And the note said, hello, Mr. Shopkeeper. I guess it was in Spanish, not in English. Please sell my dog some Cheetos, the orange kind, not the red ones. They're too hot. She has $20 attached to her collar. Warning, she will bite you if she's not treated right, your front door neighbor. So even though the tiny dog seemed a bit confused at the beginning, she did execute the task and she did return with the Cheetos in her mouth. Apparently, despite the common misconception, Cheetos are actually Chihuahuas are very, very trainable. So that was kind of cute, funny story. And the other kind of cute, funny story I saw was that in Britain, a couple was left shocked. Of course, this happened in Britain when their neighbor dressed up as a bush to break away from quarantine. Now, Nicholas Murray and Madeline Davies from Stevenge, Hertfordshire, watched in amazement and disbelief as their neighbor scuttled down the driveway dressed from head to toe in a disguise of leaves. The pair filmed the incident, which shows their neighbor's ingenious plan working while they stand against a backdrop of bushes. So as not to draw attention, the neighbor crouches, scurries, and even stops, drops, rolls, all in order to pull off this cunning disguise. The video posted on social media site TikTok has since gone viral and has been viewed by more than 16.5 million people. Nick said, looking back, I didn't expect the video to go viral and get that many views. While it was a difficult time, we want to bring smiles, laughs, and hope to the world. And that, my friends, is what is going on in the world today. We will, unfortunately, not be able to take your telephone calls, but if you do leave your questions in the comments section, I will be happy to answer all of your immigration questions right now. I do have to remind everybody that if you're watching on Facebook, this is the time to start your watch parties. So tell your friends, Uh, do them a favor. They're all sitting home. They're all sitting home with nothing to do, and they're all figuring out, what's their entertainment, and what better thing to do at this very moment than to figure out your immigration problems, figure out your immigration status. So for everybody out there, we have about 140 people watching right now, contemporaneously on Facebook. If you all start watch parties right now, we'll get that number up to over 300. On YouTube, I want you to take out your thumb. Here is a thumb. It's very simple. And what you're going to do is take your thumb and you're going to go to that little gray button, and you're going to turn it. You're going to turn that little gray button blue. I want to see that gray button turn blue. And the other thing that we're going to ask everybody to do right now, if you're watching on YouTube, is to take a copy of the link and send it in your WhatsApp to as many people as you can. In the meantime, I do have to remind everybody my law office is open. The telephone number to call is 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465. All right, so let's go to our questions on Facebook. Let's see how we're doing today. Demoro Med has a question. He wants to know, how do I correct an error on my approved I-130? The category should be wife or husband of a U.S. citizen instead of a lawful permanent resident. And it was sent to the National Visa Center instead of the local office. Well, Demore, it sounds like you've done a couple of things wrong. If you are an American citizen and your wife is in the United States, you don't need it to be sent to the local office. You should have filed an adjustment right away. So that I-130 should have went in with the I-45. There is nothing to correct right now. Take that I-130 approval, submit proof of your citizenship, file an I-485, and everything will automatically get transferred. Do that immediately. Naked Wire says, hi, God bless you. Please, what are the documents needed for the entire citizenship process? Well, to become a citizen, let's assume the most basic way to become a citizen is you've had your green card for 5 years and you're basing it on being a lawful permanent resident for 5 years. So what documents do you need? You need a copy of your green card. Why do you need your green card? Because you got to show the government you've been a resident for more than 5 years. To actually file, that's really it. Everything else is you're just going to complete the applications. You may need to look at your passport to show that your dates in and out of the country, to show that you've been physically in the United States and permanently living here 30 out of the last 60 months and no trip more than 6 months. You're going to need your social security number, but you don't need to submit it. You really just need to submit the citizenship form and a copy of your green card. Everything else you are going to bring to your interview. Tamika Nelson wants to know, am I cooking for myself? The answer is yes. And I'm not a very good cook, so I want this to be over with very soon. Last night, I tried to make salmon, and I think I put too much seasoning on the salmon. My daughter threw it out. She didn't want to eat it. She took couple bites. What else we got here? Let's see, any other questions here? Yeah, Martin Allison says it's very stressing and depressing. It is, but the good news is that this will be over soon. It's going to be weeks and weeks, and hopefully not months and months. And the other thing is, Martin, is you have to recognize everybody's in this together. So the entire world is in this. I don't know anybody who's happy right now. Everybody's stressed. Everybody's anxious. We're all in it together. If it was just you and nobody else, or if it was just me, I was just saying this to my friend the other day. I said, if this was just me and I had to be quarantined and shut my business down and not know where an income is going to come, and we didn't shut our business down, we're still working from home, but obviously it's not the same. And we didn't know, what's going to happen to, and I didn't know what was going to happen to me tomorrow, and everybody else is, living life and living large and having a great time, then yeah, I would be really stressed out and depressed. But it's everybody. We're all in this together. So we're all going to get out of this, out of this together as well. So, I don't remember the quote from Albert Einstein. So I may be paraphrasing what Albert Einstein said. But what Albert Einstein said was, you look at, I'm going to get you the quote. I'll come back to it. I don't want to. He has a very good quote. I'll come back with it tomorrow or later today. I'll look online as I do my show. Um, Candy Bennett. Hi, Brad. What is your advice for people on a visitor's visa in the United States with time expiring a month or two prior from now? What do you advise them to do? I would advise them right now to file an I-539 for an extension on your visitor's visa and put in the reason why you want the extension is because of the coronavirus. You're unable to leave the United States, and buy a plane ticket for some time in late June or July, when presumably you'll be able to leave the United States of America and go back home, and show that plane ticket along with the most basic affidavit of support, which would be the I-131 affidavit of support. Tsuen, and you can give us a call and I'll be happy to help you with that. And the telephone number is 1-800-529-5465. Tsuen Acevedo, by the way, I don't think anybody did watch parties today because our numbers are very low on Facebook and YouTube. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully you guys can start sharing. That would be really, really appreciated. Tsuen Acevedo said, good evening. My sister has a Wawa case, a VAWA case. The Wawa is like the 7-Eleven, I think. The VAWA case. And it was approved I-360 from April 2018. Still waiting for a decision and her green card. Can you tell us what's going on? I cannot tell you what's going on because I didn't handle the case. But if you filed an I-485 and the I-360 simultaneously, and you got the I-360 approved in April 2018, that was 2 years ago, you should have a green card by now. If you just did the I-360 only and it just recently got approved and then you're filing an I-485, well, then you're going to wait longer and you just did it the long, long way and probably didn't do it the right way. So it depends on which way you did it. If you did it the first way and you're still waiting 2 years, well, then, yeah, that's a big problem. I would give me a call immediately at 1-800-529-5465. Jen McKell Philippe said, hello. I just thought I would chime in. My husband came here illegally and I applied my husband to stay and we won. There's hope for people. Wonderful. Congratulations. Let's see. Rose Hines says, blessings. I'm a little confused here. My question is, my husband is a United States citizen. Can he file for me and my teenage daughter at one time, or is the fee double? I think it's $1,700 plus. Is it double for the both of us together during the immigration process? Do they normally send you a letter to go to an immigration doctor or their own choices and location? What is the different cost? Price depend on the doctor you visit. All right, so this is the story. If you are married to a U.S. citizen, your husband, and you want to file an adjustment, you're going to file an adjustment application. Your husband's going to file an adjustment application for you, and the fee is going to be $1,760. If you have a daughter and she's under 18 at the time that you got married and she's now under 21 at the time your husband's going to be filing for her, she would file a separate adjustment application also for $1,760. There is a list of doctors. You can download them from USCIS.gov. All the doctors charge different prices, so you can certainly price check the different doctors, but you have to go to a doctor on the official list from the USCIS. Sounds like, Rose, that you may have some issues with your immigration, and you may want to give me a call at 1-800-529-5465. Let's go to YouTube and see if there's some questions on YouTube now. Karina Fung, hey, Brad, can you expedite your travel parole? If so, how do you do it? You can, but nobody's expediting anything at this very moment. The only way to expedite travel parole is to show that you have an emergency or a death in another country. But right now, they're not even giving U.S. passports out to people. So you're not going to get your advanced parole at this very moment. It can't be expedited. Um, what are the government benefits for unemployment in Texas? I don't know. What do you mean by what are the government benefits for unemployment in Texas? Go apply for unemployment insurance. The government's going to send you a stimulus check if you're a resident or a citizen. There's going to be an additional $600 in unemployment issued not from the state but from the U.S. government. Um, let's see what else we have here. Sexy Sham Myers wants to know what happens after your second prima facia is expired. You can apply for a third one. You should have already gotten your I-360 approved if you're already on your second prima facie, but you can certainly keep applying for it until you get your approval on your I-360. 29 Super C says the Prime Minister announced that all restaurants are going to be closed tomorrow till April 30th. As such, there is so much cars at the KFC and the drive-throughs right now. I don't know where 29 Super C is. Are you down I think you're down in Trinidad, I think, right? Jerry Stewart. Hi, I'm in Jamaica. My wife is a green card holder. She petitioned for me in August 2019. When should we expect to hear from USCIS, and how long should the entire process take? Well, if she applied for you in 2019, you should hear from USCIS. Pre-coronavirus, you should have heard from USCIS sometime by August of 2020, but my guess is that you won't hear from USCIS till the fall, and hopefully the priority dates will still be current for lawful residents, married, people who are married to lawful residents, and hopefully you process through the National Visa Center and you'll be here sometime in the first half of 2021. Let's see who else we have. Muk Mamad Yuk Yakobov. Let me try to get that one more time. Muk Hamid Dukub Yakobov. I have a VAWA case. I got approved, and soon I will have an interview. They want to check my income. What do they mean? They don't need to check your income. There's no poverty guideline requirements for VAWA cases, so don't worry about it. Layla Smith. I'm a green card holder. My son's case is at the National Visa Center. All the documents were sent. My child is 19 years old now. What will happen if he turns 21 before the interview since the delay of the pandemic? Well, assuming he's now 19, they didn't make any law changes because of the pandemic that the cases are delayed and your kid turns 21, he's still going to be out of luck. But if it's 19 now and the priority date's current, let's assume that he'll get a visa appointment before he's 21. There's also Child Status Protection Act that'll give him some sort of relief after his 21st birthday as well. But you just got to push through once this coronavirus is over, unless, of course, they change the laws. But they haven't done anything about that yet. Hairgo on YouTube. Hairgo Jabrisis. Hi, Uncle Brad. Thank you for your help. My question is, can the petitioner use the intending immigrant's income to be qualified, the 125% poverty guideline, if the intending immigrant is in the USA and on optional practical training? You cannot use the intending immigrant's income to prove that you can support the person 125% above the poverty level, unless that intending immigrant has 10 years of lawful employment in the United States, which I doubt they do. So you got to find a second affidavit of support. Aisha Fareen Javid. If an F1 files a joint tax return with a U.S. citizen spouse and the F1 goes out of the United States before filing for adjustment of status, will there be an issue when coming back at the airport due to filing a joint tax return? They will have no idea that you filed a joint tax return at the U.S. airport. There could be an issue when you come back to the United States that if you are married to a U.S. citizen that you're coming back to get your green card, but it has nothing to do with your taxes. They have no record of that. They'll just see, they could have a record maybe, or they can ask you, are you married to a U.S. citizen? And then, then you could have a problem. Jerry Stewart, and with all of this, you really need to have a consultation so you know how to handle these situations. Jerry Stewart, pleasant evening, Honorable Brad. I'm in Jamaica. My wife, who's a green card holder, petitioned for me in August 2019. When should we expect to hear from the USCIS How long? I think I just answered that question. I told you sometime in the fall you should hear on the I-130 approval, and you should have be here with your green card in the first half of 2021. Lady Leah, the kids' documents are still at the National Visa Center from January 2019. They sent me an email to upload documents for better quality. All the documents were resubmitted. Is it normal to be in the National Visa Center for over 1 year? How much longer? Well, if the priority dates aren't current, it's normal. If you're not uploading the documents properly, it's normal. But generally, the answer is no, it is not normal to be there that long. David William, hi, Brad. What's the difference between the imposition of a sentence and execution of a sentence for immigration purposes? What is the difference between the imposition and the execution? I don't know what the difference of an imposition and an execution is. I can tell you what the definition of a crime is. And the definition of a crime for immigration purposes is this: were you found guilty of something, whether by a judge, whether by a jury, or because you pled guilty to something. So being found, adjudicated some form of guilt, and you had some sort of sentence imposed. And a sentence imposed means that anything, any sort of punishment would be a sentence. You paid a fine, that's a sentence. You got probation, that's a sentence. Jail time, obviously, is a sentence. Community service is a sentence. So if there is a guilty plea, a verdict of guilt, a judge adjudicates you guilty, and you have some sort of sentence, then that is a conviction. And I think in the Immigration Nationality Act they use the term sentence imposed, but sentence executed, imposed, to me, I guess would be synonyms. I don't think there's much of a difference. Vitho Oliveira. Hello, my I-130 was approved on November 22nd, but the I-45 wasn't because of my expired medical, which was sent 4 months ago. But since then, there is no update online or anything. Why is it taking so long now? Coronavirus, as Cardi B says, it's real. Has the fee, AJ wants to know, has the fee increased for I-751? Well, the fee for the I-751, I don't know if it's increased or not. It increased a while back, but it's right now $725. Okinami Oyabade says, I am a VAWA applicant. I'm married to a U.S. citizen. I applied for a work permit concurrently. I don't have my work permit yet. I was given a C31 category, but I actually applied for I-765 with my I-360. Well, you applied for a work permit through two different applications. One would be through the approved I-360, and one is based on an adjustment based on a pending or approved I-360. They may issue you two separate work permits. You may get one based on C31 and one based on C9, which is adjustment status. I've seen people get actually two. Let's go back to Facebook for a little bit and answer some questions there. Demore Romed question, follow-up to my question. I did file the I-45, but before the I-130 was approved. The wife became a citizen when the I-130 was pending. And yes, the upgrade was done before the I-130 was approved. How do I correct the error on the category LPR instead of USC? I filed the I-45, but before the I-130 was approved, the wife became a citizen. You don't have to worry about the National Visa Center. Just write the National Visa Center that you filed your adjustment application, and then submit a copy of the receipt of the I-45, and that's perfectly fine. Tsuen Acevedo. That's not a question, that's a statement. Tamika Nelson giving some boiling tips. Marik Estrada. How can an inmate file to be released from federal correctional facility in Oklahoma if the courthouses are not open? Why do they want to be released? For what reason? You could always file some sort of emergency habeas corpus, bring the prisoner forward that they're being held illegally or in violation of the Constitution. You could always file that, whether courthouses are open or not, but I'm not sure why you're asking that they should be released. J.D. Yates. Hi, Brad. I was in a domestic abuse relationship. My husband file was supposed to file for me. He left the house, decided not to file for me. He's a U.S. citizen. We have children together. We've been together for 13 years, on and off, but I've been married for 2. What can I do now regarding my green card? Well, you can file a VAWA if you've been a victim of a domestic abuse. And apparently in the news, because everybody's quarantined, there's a lot of domestic abuse going on at this very moment. If you're the victim of a domestic abuse, you don't have to stay in an unhappy marriage. You don't have to stay in an abusive marriage for sure. No one has a right to hit you or touch you or physically abuse you or emotionally abuse you. And you can file a VAWA case. You don't need him. And all you have to do is prove you did live together and prove that that there was abuse. So you can give us a call and we'll be happy to help you. Andrea Reed, hey Brad, my friend went for an interview on February 2018 and USCIS said 120 days and still no answer when she called. They write her and they reviewed her case. It's over 3 years now and still no decision. Well, then I think she needs to give me a call because 3 years is way, way, way too long. We may have to do some discussions about a mandamus at some point. Janice, my son is a green card holder, but currently in the Philippines. He's supposed to come back here in the United States last March, but he's stuck in the Philippines due to no domestic flights coming to Manila. He's been there for 10 months for school. If he can't come back here as planned, is he going to lose his status? What can he do about it? He can go to the U.S. Embassy in Manila and apply for an SB1 visa, show that he has a lot of roots still here in the United States, and they will give him, and it's beyond his control, coming back to the United States. That's the purpose of the SB1 visa. And he can get that and try to come back with that. But yes, he would otherwise lose his green card, but for that, but he can get the SB1 visa. So that's what he needs to do. Sam Yemen, say, hi, Brad. I want to sue the USCIS for delaying my case for no reason. Can you handle my case if I'm in New York? The answer is yes. Let's see who else we have here. First Lady Leah. If you start filing married to a United States citizen but had to change the VAWA, will this affect the filing for kids under 17? Their cases are still at the National Visa Center. Yes, because you're not going to complete that case filed by your ex-husband who was abusive. The kids are now going to be included on the VAWA case. So they would have to wait for your VAWA case to get approved. And then after your VAWA case gets approved and you get a green card, they would come to follow to join you here. Callie-Ann Optimistic Sybil saying, hey, Brad, can a green card holder file for my 9-year-old living in Jamaica? And if yes, how long will the process take? And also my mom. Can I as a green card holder? The answer is yes, you can file for your 9-year-old. It'll take about 2 years. You cannot file for your mom until you become a United States citizen. Demore Romed, Brad, you are the godfather to all immigration applications. Stay blessed. Clifford Gordon giving advice, but I don't know what the question is, but his answer is if the child was over 21, then it'd take years. But I'm not sure what the question was, Clifford, if you're giving the proper advice or not, but you want to listen to Clifford? Be my guest. Anthony Bella on YouTube. Dear Brad, how long can I get a thumbprint, after filing and submitting the application with this coronavirus issue? It's the $1 million question. We don't know when you can get a thumbprint for the biometric. If you're doing a renewal of your work permit, they already have your thumbprint already. You won't need it. They'll issue to you. But if it's the first time around, we got to wait for immigration to reopen. They said they will not reopen until May 3rd. So the minimum was going to be May 3rd. Antonio Tondro. Do you think any government benefits during the pandemic would fall under the new immigration law in regards to someone using government benefits? No, because none of these government benefits that they're giving are need-based government benefits. They're all benefits that anyone would be entitled to. Even the stimulus package isn't, you could be earning as a couple up to $150,000 and get it. So it's perfectly fine to collect. Sharon Brooks, because of coronavirus, if you get a 30 days notice to reopen case, are they giving an extension? They are not giving an extension on the motions to reopen. They are only giving extensions on requests for further evidence and notices of intent to deny. And those are 60 days from the due date if you got that letter between March 1st and April 30th. And Justin Brown, Brad, can a life insurance policy be used to show proof of marriage? The answer is absolutely can. Let's go back to Facebook. Brahim Akfer. Can a 2-year congressional green card apply for Medicaid, or would that be a public charge? That would be a public charge, but you already have your 2-year green card, so who cares? They're not checking for public charge when you file to remove from the 2-year to the 10-year. Tamika Nelson, start your watch party, guys. I agree. Start your watch parties, man. And Irfan Sheikh. I got through my green card through VAWA. However, I got remarried now. Can I file for my wife now? Also, can I file the I-45 and I-765 along with the I-130? I got through on my green card through VAWA. However, I got remarried. Can you file the I-45 and I-765 with the I-130? If you're a citizen now, yes, you can. If you're not, unless your wife is here in legal status or your spouse is here in legal status. JD Yates wants to know, how long is a VAWA? How much is it? VAWA doesn't cost anything. Obviously, legal fees are different, but in terms of filing fees, there's no cost to file a VAWA. There's a cost to file an adjustment, which is $1,225, and they do take about 2 years. Going back to YouTube, Joseph Nem saying, hi, Brad, I got my green card last week through marriage. However, I'm eligible for the Liberian Relief Immigration Act, which is basically the amnesty, through which I can file, for which you can file a citizenship instantly after I-45 is approved. Any way to fix this? Wait, let me read this question again. Hi, Brad, I got my green card last week through marriage. However, I'm eligible for the Liberians, where after you get your green card, you can file for citizenship instantly. Anyway, no, there's no way to fix it. You already got your green card through marriage, so now you got to wait 3 years. Cedric Paul. Hey, Brad, and this will be our last question of the day. I will be back tomorrow, but this will be our last question of the day. So hopefully my crew is watching this. Hey, Brad, my brother is married to a U.S. citizen back in the island, but the United States, I believe, has a ban on him entering the U.S. back in 2015. Can he still get his green card? And my question to you is, why does he have a ban? He was ordered deported. He was found in absentia he was found inadmissible at the airport. What was the reason behind it? What we would need to do is get what's called a Freedom of Information Act request, see the reasons behind why he has a ban, and then see if we can overcome them. All right, I'll answer 2 or 3 more because they're coming in quickly, but only 2 or 3 more. Ayomi Joy Amode. I applied for a change of status of a green card since 2018 December, but after my asylum has been granted, how long will it take? When you file for your adjustment of status on asylum, it usually takes about a year. And on YouTube, this will be the last question. On YouTube, hey, Uncle Brad, I haven't applied for the I-45 with the I-360. Can I file it now? Which center to send it to? Well, if you file the I-45, you can attach the copy of the I-360 to the I-45, and you can send it to the Chicago lockbox. With that said, I do have to remind everybody, I'll be back tomorrow sometime between 4 and 4:30 with another pandemic edition of Brad Show Live. It'll be a pop-up edition, also from my dining room table. Hopefully you will not see scruffy Brad. I think maybe I'll shave tomorrow. I do have to remind everybody that prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. But if you do have an immigration issue, I would suggest you give me a call, give everyone in my office a call. And the telephone number, we are working, we are in business still. And the telephone number call is 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LawLink. And I have my secretary standing by now. They can answer your calls. They can set up a consultation for you to speak with me tomorrow before I even get on the next pandemic pop-up. So if you do need help, I am here to help you. The telephone number again is 1-800-529-5465, 1-800-529-5465. That is going to be it for me today. I wish everybody a safe and uneventful evening. I know it is very, very stressful, but we will all get through this together. And I will be back tomorrow, and we will all be back together tomorrow. Stay well, and blessings to you all. Be well.